Hello friends. Today, we're diving deep into the mystic, romantic, and often surprising world of those born on March 16th. If your birthday falls on this day, or someone special to you is born under these stars, prepare to uncover the cosmic blueprint that shapes your life, love, passions, and hidden powers. This is not your average horoscope. We're pulling back the curtain on Western astrology, Vedic insights, numerology, Druidic lore, flower and stone symbolism, and more. Buckle up, this journey might just explain everything. Western Zodiac, Pisces with a cosmic twist. People born on March 16 fall under the mystical, soulful, and often paradoxical sign of Pisces. Governed by the boundless energy of Neptune, their personality is a blend of dream and depth, gentleness and inner turbulence. They are soft-spoken revolutionaries, wielding intuition as their secret weapon and empathy as their armor. There is nothing surface level about a March 16 Piscean. From the outside, they may seem passive, even detached, but within, there's a storm of thought, imagination, and emotion that rarely pauses. Their ruling planet, Neptune, is not just the god of the sea. It is the planet of illusion, dreams, mysticism, and higher consciousness. This grants them an almost psychic sensitivity to the world around them. They sense what others miss, a shift in tone, the truth behind a smile, the quiet ache in someone's laughter. But this deep sensitivity is a double-edged sword. It gives them superpowers of understanding, but also leaves them vulnerable to emotional overload. Their element is water, the most intuitive and fluid of all elements. This means they live in constant motion, emotionally and spiritually. Just like water, they can adapt to any environment, take the shape of any container, and still retain their essence. They're changeable, but not fickle, more like a tide that adjusts to the moon's pull. Their modality is mutable, which speaks to their adaptability and natural ability to flow with life. Mutable signs are the most flexible of the zodiac, and in Pisces, this translates to a person who can move effortlessly between roles: the listener, the lover, the artist, the empath, the wanderer, the mystic. But this mutability can also make them feel scattered or inconsistent, particularly when they haven't found a personal anchor. March 16 Pisceans are often born feeling like they've been here before. Old souls in modern bodies, they possess a haunting wisdom that surfaces even in childhood. They might speak about life, loss, or beauty in ways that far exceed their years. They dream vividly, love deeply, and process reality through the filter of emotion and metaphor. They understand people not through logic, but through vibes. What's unsaid is often more important to them than what's said. This depth, though, comes at a price. Their emotional range is vast. They can weep at a piece of music, laugh during a moment of silence, and experience spiritual ecstasy while watching a sunset. They are capable of overwhelming tenderness, the kind that makes people feel cherished and understood in ways they never have before. But they can also be engulfed by emotional storms, jealousy, grief, despair, or existential dread, especially when they haven't developed grounding tools. Despite this volatility, their compassion knows no bounds. They feel not just their own feelings, but the emotions of everyone around them. Walk into a room, and a March 16 Pisces can tell you who's hurting, who's faking it, who's hiding joy, and who's thinking of leaving. This makes them natural healers, counselors, and creatives, but also leaves them vulnerable to emotional exhaustion. They absorb energies like sponges, which is why solitude isn't just a preference, it's survival. They are visionaries in the truest sense. They don't just think outside the box. They often don't believe the box was ever necessary. Their minds conjure entire worlds, songs no one has written, stories no one has told, feelings most people can't name. Their imagination is sacred terrain, and when nurtured, can give birth to extraordinary art, invention, and compassion-led leadership. But yes, they may forget to take out the trash. That same dreamscape that makes them magical can also make them absent-minded, scattered, or slow to act on everyday responsibilities. Deadlines, rules, and structured systems can feel restrictive or even unnatural to them. This is not out of laziness, it's a spiritual mismatch. They're tuned to a frequency that's hard to explain, but once you understand it, you'll stop asking them to live in a straight line. They are the mystics of the zodiac, the artists, the empaths, the ones who cry during commercials, make friends with animals, write poetry in margins, and remember your pain years after you've forgotten it yourself. In a world obsessed with clarity and control, the March 16th Pisces offers something far more powerful: the ability to feel, forgive, imagine, and heal. And that is a kind of strength few ever master. Love relationships. Let's talk about love, because for a March 16th Pisces, it's never just a feeling. It's a religion, a dimension, a pulse that turns the ordinary into sacred. These people don't just want affection. They crave soul-deep fusion, the kind of connection that makes time stop and the world blur. When they love, they don't hold back. They open the vault. They pour in emotion, poetry, sacrifice, and spiritual energy. You're not just dating them, you're entering their dream world. A March 16th lover will enchant you. They'll send texts at 2 a.m. that read like songs. They'll notice the glint in your eye when you're inspired, the crack in your voice when you're hurting. They'll remember your dreams better than you do. But this devotion comes with a catch. They expect the same level of emotional investment. If they sense you're playing, pretending, or withholding, consider the spell broken. These Pisceans want a relationship that transcends the physical. Sex matters, but only as an extension of deeper emotional and spiritual alignment. They want to feel your presence not just beside them in bed, but in their mind, their soul, their subtle energy field. Think candle-lit vulnerability, eye contact that melts walls, and conversations that last for hours without noticing the time. They are not easy lovers, they are epic lovers. And that means they can be intense, possessive, even dramatic. If you love them, you must learn to swim in emotional waters. They won't survive in a shallow pool. Their ideal partners are those who can meet them on multiple levels: intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and creatively. This is why Scorpio is often their best match. Scorpio provides the same depth and emotional commitment, but with a protective edge that Pisces finds comforting. Cancer understands their mood swings and shares their emotional language. Taurus, though more grounded, offers security and patience, qualities Pisces often lacks but deeply needs. On the flip side, Gemini can feel too unpredictable or cerebral. The constant change and logic-driven nature of Gemini may leave Pisces feeling emotionally neglected or intellectually scattered. Aries, while exciting, can be too confrontational. Pisces prefers harmony and subtlety over confrontation and boldness. March 16th Pisces are hopeless romantics, not in the Instagram quote way, but in the actual way. They believe in fate, in soulmates, in signs from the universe. They believe every love has a lesson, every heartbreak a meaning. But this idealism can work against them. They often fall in love with an image, a feeling, a fantasy of what could be, not always what is. This can lead them into relationships with unavailable or emotionally chaotic partners, driven by the desire to save or transform someone else. They are deeply devoted partners when they feel safe. Their love is quiet but expansive. They'll wait up for you, listen without judgment, write songs about you, forgive your flaws, and make your sadness their own. But betray them, and you'll witness the quiet withdrawal of someone who once loved you with every cell. Pisces don't do vengeance, they do distance, and their silence can echo louder than any words. Forgiveness is in their nature, but that doesn't mean they forget. The March 16th Pisces has a memory that works like a movie. They can replay scenes from years ago with startling clarity, and often do, in solitude, when the world has moved on. They also need solitude within a relationship. Constant presence can feel smothering, no matter how much they love you. They need space to dream, to feel, to breathe outside the bubble of the relationship. Deny them this, and they'll either shut down or disappear emotionally. Their biggest fear in love is being misunderstood. Because they live in such a rich inner world, they often feel like no one truly gets them. But when someone finally does, they'll find a lover more loyal, more soulful, and more transcendent than they ever imagined. To love a March 16th Pisces is to dive deep, to trust the current, and to let go of the need for control. It's not always easy, but for those who can surrender to the journey, it is utterly unforgettable. Marriage long-term bonds. March 16th individuals approach marriage not as a contract, but as a spiritual covenant, a sacred fusion of souls designed to nurture growth, healing, and shared dreams. Commitment doesn't come quickly or casually to them. It's not about checking a societal box. It's about alignment on every level, emotional, energetic, artistic, even karmic. Before they say yes, they must feel that the person they're with is not just a partner, but a mirror, a muse, a co-creator of life's grand vision. They are deeply introspective, and because of this, their standards for long-term bonding are high, not necessarily in appearance, status, or background, but in spiritual chemistry. They need to feel seen, truly seen, not just for their talents or quirks, but for their essence. If that resonance isn't there, they'll hesitate, stall, or drift silently out of reach. But once they commit, they are remarkably loyal and endlessly romantic. They treat marriage like an evolving poem, not a final destination. Their love doesn't settle into a routine, it becomes a living, breathing ritual. Expect spontaneous gestures, dreamy surprises, and a constant reimagining of what it means to share a life. One month it's handwritten notes tucked into your bag, the next it's a surprise weekend trip to a quiet coastal town just because you once said you loved the smell of sea air. They bring a kind of whimsical magic into the home, candles in every room, vintage records playing at dusk, little altars with crystals and dried flowers, books of poetry left open beside coffee cups. Their aesthetic is emotion. If something doesn't feel right, it won't stay in their environment, and the same goes for emotional dynamics in a relationship. They don't just marry a person, they marry a feeling, a frequency. They want the relationship to feel like a safe harbor, a creative studio, a sacred temple, and an emotional spa all at once. Their ideal spouse doesn't have to be perfect, but must be attuned, someone who can read their moods, speak gently when they withdraw, and remind them when their heart starts floating away that the lights still need to be paid. And they give the same in return. They are nurturing, intuitive, and infinitely forgiving partners. They often go out of their way to understand, to soothe, to support their spouse's growth. They'll believe in your dreams more than you do. They'll encourage you to rest, to create, to soften into life. But they must be allowed the same freedom. If controlled, criticized, or emotionally abandoned, their vibrant love can silently dim, like a candle left in the wind. Conflict is deeply uncomfortable for them, and if not handled gently, can leave long emotional bruises. They're not confrontational by nature. Instead, they may retreat, shut down, or disappear into their own headspace until they feel emotionally safe again. That's why emotional honesty is critical. A partner who can speak with tenderness, who values emotional repair as much as emotional expression, will earn their eternal loyalty. They are idealistic about marriage, and this can be both beautiful and challenging. They'll hold the relationship to a high spiritual and emotional standard, sometimes expecting it to constantly feel magical. When the mundane kicks in, the bills, the chores, the repetition, they can feel let down, even disoriented. A grounded partner who knows how to keep the magic alive in simple ways is their best bet. Someone who can turn folding laundry into a slow dance or make grocery shopping an adventure. Ritual is important to them. Whether it's Friday night candlelit dinners, writing love letters on anniversaries, or taking silent morning walks together, they thrive on the symbolic. It gives their relationship depth and structure without the rigidity they fear. And yes, they're the ones who will suggest moving to a quiet coastal town to write books, grow herbs, and live slowly with you. They dream of simple beauty, old houses, open skies, soulful music, meaningful conversations. Give them that, and they'll stay forever. In a world that often treats marriage like a checklist, a March 16th Pisces treats it like art. And loving them, truly loving them, is to create that masterpiece together, stroke by stroke, day by day. Sex intimacy. For someone born on March 16th, sex is sacred. It's not just a physical act, it's a mystical ceremony, a merging of spirit and flesh, an unspoken dialogue between hearts. To them, intimacy isn't just about skin and touch, it's about energy, emotion, and intention. This is where they express parts of themselves they can't articulate in words, where they speak with their body, listen with their heart, and feel with every cell. Sensuality is an art form for them. They don't rush, they savor. They notice the temperature in the room, the softness of a whisper, the rhythm of your breath. They know how to slow time down, make you feel like you're the only soul that exists in that moment. They're not interested in performance, they're interested in presence. To a March 16th Pisces, the lead-up matters just as much as the act itself. Emotional foreplay is not optional, it's everything. They want to feel emotionally invited into your space, your vulnerability, your energy. A tender conversation, a lingering touch, the way you look at them from across the room, these are the sparks that light the fire. Physical connection without emotional intimacy will leave them cold and detached, no matter how technically passionate it is. They are masters of the moment, attuned to subtle signals and unspoken cues. They'll anticipate your needs before you do. They don't just make love, they weave it, like a spell, layer by layer. Their intuitive nature makes them responsive lovers, able to shift energies with ease. They're equally comfortable leading or following, as long as the emotional current is alive. Setting matters. A harsh light, a cold room, or background noise can disrupt their entire rhythm. But give them soft sheets, dimmed lights, music that tells a story, and a feeling of deep trust, and they'll transform intimacy into a transcendent experience. This is not about kink or drama, it's about atmosphere, about soul-level merging. But this sensitivity has its shadow. If they feel emotionally disconnected, rejected, or unseen, their sensual fire can vanish almost instantly. They may go through the motions, but their spirit won't be present. When this happens, they often retreat, not necessarily out of resentment, but out of self-preservation. They need to protect their energetic space. Without trust, sex can feel hollow, even invasive, and they'd rather abstain than perform. They may also escape into fantasy, whether through imagination, erotic art, or even secretive behaviors, if they feel their true desires can't be expressed safely. This isn't betrayal, it's compensation for the soul-level connection they crave and aren't receiving. Their fantasies are rich, complex, often spiritual or surreal. They imagine love as something alchemical, a transformation, a healing. They want to be taken, but also cherished. They want mystery, but never manipulation. To fully unlock their passion, a partner must be emotionally open, spiritually curious, and unafraid of depth. If you're willing to enter their world, without mocking it, rushing it, or trying to control it, you'll discover a lover who will worship your soul, not just your body. They'll make you feel like every inch of you is a universe worth exploring. And they're generous. Their pleasure is amplified by your pleasure. Their arousal is deeply emotional. Seeing you relaxed, open, and adored will move them as much as physical stimulation. Eye contact, hand-holding, afterglow, silence, it all matters. They don't separate sex from love easily. For them, intimacy is both the path and the prayer. And in a world full of noise, distraction, and transactional connection, they offer a different kind of touch. One that echoes, one that heals, one that reminds you what it means to be truly known. Love a March 16th Pisces well, and the bedroom becomes not just a room, but a sanctuary, a studio, a sacred space where the divine dances with the human. Friendship. Friendship with someone born on March 16th is not casual. It's not shallow. It's not transactional. It's deep, soulful, and built on emotional resonance and shared understanding. These individuals aren't interested in surface-level companionship. They're searching for connection, for kindred spirits who speak their language of empathy, imagination, and unspoken truths. If they call you a friend, know this: you've been chosen, not out of convenience, but because your energy aligns with something in them that words can't fully explain. March 16th Pisces are natural empaths. They feel your pain sometimes before you do. They'll catch the shift in your tone mid-conversation, notice when you laugh a little too hard to cover the ache, and text you something supportive right before your bad day begins. They are emotionally psychic, intuitive to the point where it can be unnerving, especially for those who aren't used to being truly seen. They remember everything, not just birthdays or anniversaries, but things you once said in passing and immediately forgot. The weird childhood dream you described at 1 a.m. during a sleepover? The exact brand of herbal tea you reach for when you're heartbroken? The name of your first pet? Stored, cataloged, emotionally significant, they hold your history like a living archive. They're especially drawn to the misfits of the world, the creatives, the dreamers, the loners, the emotionally bruised. If you've ever felt like you didn't belong, they will be the first to sit beside you without judgment. If you're going through a crisis, expect them to drop everything to hold space for your pain. They don't just show up, they anchor you. Their compassion is not performative, it's bone deep. But their inner circle is tight. They don't trust easily, not because they're cold, but because they feel too much. Emotional intimacy is precious to them, and they can't afford to pour themselves into people who treat friendship like a convenience. If you're lucky enough to be let into their world, understand the privilege of it. They may have hundreds of acquaintances, but only a select few earn full access to their heart. They're naturally repelled by shallowness, cruelty, and vanity. Gossip drains them. Small talk bores them. People who thrive on social status or manipulation are like poison to their sensitive systems. They want authenticity, flaws, messiness, depth, and all. As friends, they are unwaveringly loyal. They will stand up for you when you can't stand for yourself. They'll defend your name in rooms you're not in. They'll sacrifice sleep, time, money, and energy if they believe it will help you. But this selflessness comes with a cost. Their biggest weakness in friendship is that they absorb emotions like sponges. If you're going through something dark, they'll carry your pain as if it were their own, and sometimes won't even realize they're doing it. A long phone call with a sad friend can leave them drained for days. And yet, they'll keep answering the phone. They'll keep showing up, because that's who they are. They struggle with boundaries. They may offer too much, too quickly. They may forgive when they shouldn't. They might find themselves in codependent dynamics, believing they can heal or save someone simply through presence and patience. It's beautiful, but dangerous. Emotional burnout is common for them. When they feel emotionally overloaded, they may retreat without warning. Not out of resentment, but out of necessity. Their silence isn't punishment, it's survival. They need time alone to recharge, to release the emotional baggage they've absorbed, to come back into balance. Good friends will respect this without taking it personally. They also have a whimsical, fun-loving side that not everyone gets to see. They love deep conversations, but they also love weird jokes, midnight adventures, creating art together, dancing barefoot, and laughing until it hurts. They bring magic into friendship, not the kind you can buy, but the kind that makes life feel richer, more meaningful. Friendship with a March 16th Pisces is a gift. It's a sanctuary. It's a soft place to land in a world that too often demands hardness. If you're in their life, show up with truth. Stay gentle, match their loyalty, and never, ever mistake their softness for weakness. Behind their empathy is an ocean of strength that has weathered more storms than you'll ever know. Career business. March 16th individuals are not wired for rigid structure, office cubicles, or soul-draining monotony. They are creators, healers, visionaries, and intuitive entrepreneurs. Their career path isn't a straight ladder. It's a winding, organic journey shaped by meaning, purpose, and emotional alignment. Money and titles don't excite them nearly as much as impact, beauty, and soulful fulfillment. Give them a career that allows them to express, and they will thrive. As artists, they're deeply imaginative. As musicians, they pour feeling into every note. As writers, they turn pain into poetry. They channel unseen emotions and spiritual truths into tangible forms. They often feel ideas before they understand them intellectually. This makes them natural creators of content that moves people, whether it's a film that leaves the audience in tears, or a photograph that tells a story without words. They also excel in healing and helping professions. As therapists, counselors, nurses, or spiritual coaches, they bring compassion and deep listening to every client. They aren't just trained to help, they're built to help. Their intuition makes them especially powerful in one-on-one settings, where they can connect deeply and offer profound insight. Nonprofit work or humanitarian efforts are also strong callings. March 16th individuals are often motivated by the desire to alleviate suffering, whether human, animal, or environmental. Their empathy drives them to take action, and their natural creativity helps them design solutions that others might overlook. As entrepreneurs, they are surprisingly sharp. Their business instincts come not from spreadsheets, but from gut feelings. They'll sense when a trend is coming. They'll know when something feels off in a business deal. They may not love logistics, but they're often visionary leaders, capable of inspiring others through passion and authenticity. They do especially well in businesses related to art, music, film, or publishing, mental health, wellness, or alternative healing, ethical fashion or sustainable living, nonprofits, NGOs, or social advocacy, education, especially creative or emotional development. But their biggest challenge? Pricing their value. Because they're motivated by meaning rather than money, they often undercharge or give too much away for free. They struggle to believe their talents are worth cold, hard cash. This can lead to financial instability, burnout, or resentment if not addressed. They need to learn that receiving is also sacred, and that being well-resourced allows them to give from a place of abundance rather than depletion. Routine can be difficult for them. A standard 9-to-5 job with no emotional or creative engagement can feel like slow death. They're easily overwhelmed by micromanagement, toxic work cultures, or environments that ignore emotional intelligence. They need freedom, beauty, and inspiration in their workday, whether that's flexible hours, aesthetic surroundings, or emotionally safe teams. They are often late bloomers in their careers. It may take them time to find their path, especially because they're so multi-talented. They might start in one field and suddenly switch directions, guided by a feeling that something else is calling. This unpredictability isn't failure, it's evolution. And once they find their true calling, they can excel beyond expectation. Collaboration matters to them. They work best with people who respect their vision and bring clarity or structure without steamrolling their process. They don't respond well to ego or aggression, but they flourish in emotionally intelligent teams where heart and intuition are valued as much as intellect. They measure success differently. For them, it's not about status or power. It's about doing what they love, helping people, and feeling spiritually aligned. When those things come together, they're unstoppable. The world needs March 16th Pisces in the workforce, not just to innovate, but to humanize. To bring feeling back into systems. To heal what's broken through presence, creativity, and love. If they can learn to balance their dreams with structure, and their heart with healthy boundaries, they don't just build a career, they build a legacy. The dark side. Every light casts a shadow, and for those born on March 16th, that shadow runs deep. These individuals carry extraordinary gifts, intuition, creativity, compassion, but those same gifts can easily spiral when they're ungrounded or overwhelmed. What makes them magical also makes them vulnerable. The same emotional depth that allows them to heal others can drown them if they're not careful. And when that happens, they don't explode, they disappear. At their worst, March 16th individuals can become chronic escapists. Life, with all its sharp edges and chaotic demands, can feel too harsh for their sensitive systems. When reality becomes too loud or disappointing, their first instinct is to retreat into daydreams, fantasy, romantic illusions, or addictive behaviors. This escape can be as simple as scrolling endlessly through social media to avoid hard conversations, or as serious as developing dependencies on substances, relationships, or emotional highs that keep them numb and detached from the world. They are also dangerously trusting. Their default belief is that people are inherently good, which can be beautiful, but blinding. They often see others as they could be, not as they are. This makes them easy targets for manipulation, exploitation, or emotional abuse. They can befriend the wrong people, stay in toxic relationships too long, or give away their talents for free to those who only take. Their desire to see the best in others can override their ability to set healthy boundaries or spot red flags. Another shadow trait is their tendency toward martyrdom. They give, and give, and give, until they're running on empty, quietly resenting those around them for not noticing. But they won't always ask for help, or even express their needs. Instead, they expect others to just know, and when that silent recognition never comes, they spiral into disappointment or quiet bitterness. Their self-worth can become tied to how much they sacrifice for others, and if they're not careful, this can evolve into a pattern of codependence. March 16 Pisces can also struggle with passive aggression. Direct confrontation feels terrifying. It threatens the emotional harmony they cling to. So instead, they may retreat, go silent, or express their frustration in roundabout ways. They'll say everything's fine while radiating wounded energy. They'll pull away without explaining why. They might forget to respond to messages or agree to plans they have no intention of keeping. This behavior isn't manipulative, it's protective. They don't always have the language to explain their pain, so they hope their absence will speak for them. Perhaps most mysterious, and most frustrating to those close to them, is their ability to vanish. When emotionally flooded, they don't fight, argue, or scream. They ghost. This isn't out of cruelty, but out of emotional paralysis. They don't know how to process the storm in their chest, and they fear hurting others by speaking out of pain. So they retreat, quietly, suddenly, without explanation. They may disappear for days, weeks, even months, trying to sort through what they're feeling. And when they return, they often carry guilt, unsure of how to repair the silence they left behind. They also internalize emotional energy to a dangerous degree. Because they absorb the feelings of others, they often can't tell what pain is theirs and what belongs to someone else. If they don't learn how to clear that energy, they may carry emotional baggage that doesn't belong to them, leading to confusion, chronic anxiety, or emotional exhaustion that feels unexplainable. Shadow work for a March 16 Pisces is essential, and it's never about eliminating their sensitivity, it's about protecting it. The work is learning boundaries, how to say no without guilt, how to offer love without losing themselves, how to give without draining, and how to receive without shame. It's also about self-worth, believing that they are valuable even when they're not fixing someone, sacrificing something, or staying quiet. They must learn to stop rescuing others at the cost of their own peace. They must stop confusing compassion with self-erasure. And perhaps most importantly, they must stop believing that their love is only meaningful when it hurts. When they begin to love themselves with the same depth and patience they offer others, their shadow transforms into their greatest strength. Their sensitivity becomes sovereignty, their empathy becomes empowerment, their intuition becomes their guide, not their prison. Life purpose. The ultimate purpose of someone born on March 16 is not found in titles or trophies. It's written in whispers, in brushstrokes, in moments of soul-to-soul recognition. Their mission isn't loud or obvious. It's transformative, emotional, and deeply spiritual. They are not here to dominate the world, they are here to change it, quietly, beautifully, from the inside out. Their greatest calling is to blend imagination with reality. This means taking the powerful dreams that live in their heart and shaping them into something tangible, whether that's through art, healing, language, or service. They are not meant to live solely in fantasy, but to use their creativity as a bridge between worlds. Their challenge is learning how to stay anchored in reality while channeling the divine. They are natural storytellers, and their stories often heal. They write poems that reveal unspoken truths, sing songs that hold the listener's grief, paint canvases that capture invisible feelings, and create spaces, emotional or physical, where people feel deeply seen. Their ability to turn personal emotion into universal resonance is their genius. But their healing work doesn't always look like healing. It might be a novel that gives someone the courage to cry. A photograph that reminds someone of their forgotten beauty. A long, quiet conversation where the other person finally feels heard. They don't need a stage or a platform to do what they were born to do. Their energy itself is medicine. The March 16 path is less about achievement and more about alignment. They feel when they're in the right place, not through logic, but through sensation. The right life for them feels like peace, like purpose, like resonance. They are often drawn to roles that involve healing, teaching, creating, or uplifting. They may feel called to spiritual work, humanitarian missions, or deeply emotional forms of expression. They're not here to compete. They're here to connect. Their journey is not linear. It moves like water, flowing around obstacles, finding secret paths, following inner tides. And though this can look unfocused to others, it's part of a larger rhythm only they can hear. Because of their strong intuitive nature, they may struggle with doubt. The outside world may tell them to be more practical, to conform, to chase security. But their soul will always rebel. When they ignore their creative or spiritual instincts, they wither. But when they honor those instincts, despite fear, they flourish. The world might not always understand them, but the world needs them. Their life purpose is to be a channel for beauty, for healing, for truth, for love. Whether they know it or not, they are helping others reconnect to what matters most: emotional honesty, creative freedom, and spiritual meaning. Every time they choose art over apathy, intuition over conformity, compassion over control, they're doing exactly what they came here to do. They may never receive public applause, but they will touch lives in unforgettable ways, quietly, deeply, forever, and that is a legacy more powerful than any headline. To be born on March 16th is to be given the gift of vision with vulnerability, creativity with compassion, and sensitivity with soul. Their life purpose isn't just about doing, it's about being. Being a safe place, being a source of light, being the reminder that love, beauty, and depth still exist in a world that often forgets. Numerology, the power of 16. In numerology, every number holds a unique frequency, a code, a purpose, a vibration that reveals something essential about a person's life path and soul mission. For those born on March 16th, that code begins with the number 16, which reduces to 7. 1 plus 6 equals 7. But before we even get to the final digit, it's important to acknowledge the layered energy of the number 16 itself. This number carries a karmic vibration, one associated with inner growth through challenges, spiritual breakthroughs, and the destruction of illusions. The number 1 in numerology stands for individuality, leadership, and creation. It's the spark of life, the will to stand alone and forge a new path. The number 6 represents harmony, compassion, responsibility, and emotional nurturing, a distinctly Piscean resonance. Together, 1 and 6 suggest a soul who is meant to walk their own road, but do so with emotional depth and service to others in mind. When you add them together and land at 7, you step into something more ethereal, more philosophical, more soul-centered. The number 7 is known as the seeker of truth. It's the spiritual scholar of numerology, the one who digs beneath the surface of life to find what's real, what's meaningful, and what lasts beyond the temporary noise of the world. People with this life path are deeply introspective, profoundly analytical, and magnetically mystical. They're often the ones who sit in silence while others talk, absorbing more than they reveal. They may seem quiet or even aloof on the surface, but beneath that calm exterior is a mind that never stops asking, what's the deeper meaning here? March 16th individuals with this life path are natural philosophers, even if they never study philosophy. They ponder things other people dismiss, like why a certain memory returns every spring, or what that dream last night really meant, or why some people feel like instant soulmates. They seek patterns in chaos, meaning in coincidence. They see life through a lens tinted with symbols, cycles, and hidden truths. There's a part of them that operates like a monk trapped in an artist's body. They are contemplative, solitary, and often drawn to meditation, esotericism, or spiritual inquiry. But they're also deeply creative, imaginative, and emotionally expressive. It's a powerful and rare combination, the intellect of a seeker mixed with the vulnerability of a dreamer. The 7 vibration sharpens their intuition but also gives them an edge of skepticism. They don't believe things just because they're told. They need to experience truth for themselves, through direct knowing, inner wisdom, or deep research. They can be drawn to spirituality, but they're never blind followers. They ask questions, they challenge doctrine, they search relentlessly until something feels true on a soul level. But this seeking can come at a cost. When life stops making sense, when the answers are unclear, or the world feels chaotic and unfair, people with a 7 life path can become withdrawn, cynical, or emotionally paralyzed. They may shut out the world, fall into existential despair, or reject anything that once gave them hope. The paradox of the 7 is that they want to understand everything, but they're often living in a reality that doesn't offer clear answers. And that can be painful. Solitude is essential to them. Not loneliness, solitude, quiet time, nature, music, journaling, reading, or just staring out a window with a cup of tea. This is where they recharge. This is where clarity returns. They are the types who can't find their truth until the world quiets down enough for them to hear it. But if that solitude turns into isolation, it becomes dangerous. The same silence that nurtures their soul can become an echo chamber for self-doubt or sadness if they don't maintain emotional connection with others. Still, their ability to see what others miss is a gift. They notice micro-expressions, synchronicities, emotional energy, and hidden motivations. This makes them excellent counselors, analysts, researchers, artists, spiritual guides, or healers. They can solve complex emotional or intellectual problems because they're willing to go deeper than anyone else. Their strength is not speed, it's depth. The number 7 is often misunderstood in modern culture because it's not loud, not flashy, not status-driven. But in truth, it's one of the most powerful life paths available. It's a journey of soul over ego, truth over appearance, and substance over spectacle. For someone born on March 16th, the presence of the number 7 gives their Piscean nature a kind of structure, an invisible skeleton of spiritual logic beneath their waves of feeling. It turns emotional intuition into spiritual intelligence. It transforms imagination into cosmic vision. It offers them a path to transcend their pain, not by escaping it, but by understanding it. When they embrace the power of their 7 path, they become light bringers, illuminating hidden truths, decoding emotional patterns, guiding others through confusion. Their presence becomes calming, their insight becomes piercing, and their legacy becomes one of truth, beauty, and transformation. Druid Horoscope, the Elm Tree. In the sacred rhythms of Druid tree astrology, each individual is associated with a tree whose energy mirrors the essence of their soul. Those born between March 12th and March 21st are aligned with the elm tree, a symbol of quiet strength, wisdom, and noble grounding. Elm personalities are not the loudest in the room, but they are almost always the ones people instinctively look toward in moments of confusion, chaos, or emotional overwhelm. They carry a calming frequency, a rootedness that gives others permission to exhale. Elm people exude a kind of silent dignity. There's something regal about their posture, their mannerisms, their way of observing the world. They don't chase attention, but attention finds them. They move with purpose, speak with intention, and carry an energy that says, "I'm listening. I'm steady. I'm safe." Their charisma is never forced. It flows naturally from their integrity. Deep thinkers by nature, elm-aligned individuals are drawn to questions of justice, fairness, and balance. They may not speak often, but when they do, their words carry weight. They are often the moral compass in their friend group, workplace, or family, the ones who stand up quietly but firmly when something feels wrong. They can't stomach cruelty or deception, and they have little tolerance for superficiality or emotional dishonesty. People are often drawn to elm individuals without fully understanding why. It's not just their wisdom, it's their presence. They make others feel more grounded, more thoughtful, more capable of facing difficult emotions. In a world full of noise, elm people are anchoring forces. They don't demand energy from others, they give it, naturally and without expectation. The elm energy also brings a strong sense of responsibility. These individuals often feel a deep inner call to care for others, to protect those who can't protect themselves, to build communities or systems that are more equitable and compassionate. This isn't about control, it's about stewardship. Elm people want to be part of something meaningful. They want to contribute to a world that reflects their values. However, this sense of duty can sometimes become a burden. They may take on too much, carry the weight of others' problems, or suppress their own needs in service of being the strong one. There's a quiet loneliness that can develop when you're always the calm in everyone else's storm. Elm people must learn that vulnerability is not weakness, and that asking for help does not diminish their power. They also have a deep connection to nature, especially forests, open fields, and wild, untamed places. Being outside restores their balance. They're not usually adrenaline seekers. They prefer calm beauty over chaos, solitude over crowds. Many elm individuals find that being near trees literally shifts their energy, helping them think more clearly, feel more at peace, and reconnect with their inner compass. In relationships, elm people are loyal, stable, and emotionally intelligent. They may not flood you with constant affection, but their love runs deep and steady. They show it through acts of service, quiet protection, thoughtful words, and unwavering presence. When they give you their trust, it's a profound thing, and when it's broken, they don't lash out. They simply walk away, carrying their dignity with them. Creatively, elm individuals often channel their thoughts into writing, music, teaching, or long-form conversations. They aren't fans of shallow praise, but they value being heard. They often keep journals filled with observations, sketches, poetry, or philosophical musings. Their creativity isn't loud, it's timeless. The elm archetype also aligns beautifully with the March 16th Pisces energy. Both are sensitive, introspective, nurturing, and tuned into the deeper layers of life. Together, they create a person who is both soft and strong, emotional and grounded, dreamy and principled. To be born under the elm tree is to carry the essence of a quiet leader, a wise friend, a steady healer. These individuals don't shout their truth, they embody it. And the world is better, calmer, and more balanced because they are in it. Flower horoscope, mimosa. In the flower horoscope, the symbolic bloom for those born on March 16th is the mimosa, a flower that may appear delicate at first glance, but holds within it a profound inner resilience, emotional intelligence, and quiet transformative power. The mimosa doesn't shout its presence, doesn't overwhelm with dramatic color or scent, but instead offers a gentle, almost ethereal beauty that speaks in whispers rather than declarations. This perfectly mirrors the soul of the March 16th Pisces. The mimosa flower is known for its sensitivity to touch. When disturbed, its leaves curl inward, responding almost instantly to its environment. This sensitivity is not weakness. It's hyper-awareness. It's the flower's way of protecting its life force, a built-in emotional intelligence. Likewise, people born on March 16th absorb everything around them. They can feel the tension in a room the moment they walk in, detect unspoken pain behind a smile, or intuit when someone's spirit is hurting long before words are spoken. Like the mimosa, they respond deeply to the energy that surrounds them. Yet despite this almost psychic emotional attunement, March 16th individuals carry a quiet strength. Just as the mimosa thrives in soil where others might struggle, these souls can bloom even after emotional storms, heartache, or betrayal. Their resilience is not loud or showy, it's soft, grounded, and beautifully persistent. They've learned to survive through stillness, through observation, through dreaming their way out of the dark. There's steel beneath their softness, though only those who look closely will see it. The mimosa also symbolizes renewal. It's one of the first flowers to bloom in spring, often signaling the end of winter and the arrival of warmth and light. In the same way, March 16th souls often emerge from personal winters stronger and wiser, bringing a new energy to those around them. They embody transformation through tenderness. They don't need to push or dominate to create change, they simply evolve, and by doing so, inspire others to do the same. These individuals bloom brightest in nurturing environments, just like the mimosa. They need emotional safety, creative space, and soulful connections to truly thrive. Place them in a toxic, competitive, or emotionally cold environment, and they'll start to close off, curl inward, or emotionally disappear. But give them encouragement, authenticity, and warmth, and they'll astonish you with their growth. Their creativity will blossom, their insight will deepen, their ability to uplift others will become almost magical. Mimosa-born people are also naturally inclined to protect others. Just as the mimosa uses its sensitive leaves to react to danger, these individuals often step in to shield loved ones from emotional harm, often sacrificing their own comfort in the process. Their sensitivity makes them alert, emotionally strategic, and deeply empathetic protectors. They are the friends who notice when you've gone quiet, who check on you when no one else does, who sense when you're pretending to be okay. And yet, they must learn to protect themselves with the same care. The mimosa reminds us that sensitivity should never mean self-neglect. That curling inward when needed is not weakness, it's wisdom. March 16th individuals must honor their need to retreat, to replenish, to set boundaries that preserve their emotional and spiritual well-being. Creatively, mimosa people are dreamers with hands in the earth. Their ideas may come from another world, but they have the patience and intuition to bring them to life with beauty and grace. Whether they create through writing, painting, gardening, or healing arts, their work carries emotional resonance. It's never about aesthetics alone, it's about meaning. It's about making people feel. There's also something otherworldly about their presence, soft-spoken, thoughtful, always aware of the emotional undercurrents in any interaction. You may not remember exactly what they said, but you'll remember how they made you feel, calm, heard, safe. Like a mimosa in bloom, they offer subtle beauty and soul-level comfort. In love and relationships, their mimosa nature makes them gentle, affectionate, and quietly romantic. They don't need big gestures. They want shared silence, tender glances, and spiritual connection. But they do need consistency, kindness, and emotional attentiveness. Betray their trust, and you'll see them close up, not in anger, but in quiet, graceful retreat. They don't believe in revenge. They believe in protecting their peace. To be born under the sign of the mimosa is to carry the gift of emotional alchemy. These individuals turn pain into poetry, heartbreak into healing, solitude into self-knowledge. And though the world may overlook them, those who take the time to understand them will find a friend, lover, or soul guide unlike any other, soft but mighty, subtle but transformational, fleeting in presence but unforgettable in impact. Stone horoscope, amethyst. The birthstone for March 16th is the enchanting and powerful amethyst, a gemstone long revered across cultures as a symbol of inner peace, spiritual awakening, and divine protection. More than just a beautiful crystal, amethyst is a tool for energetic transformation, and its metaphysical properties align perfectly with the unique emotional and spiritual blueprint of those born under this date. Amethyst is a stone of high frequency, operating on the violet ray, a vibration associated with the crown chakra and the gateway to higher consciousness. For the March 16th individual, whose natural instincts already lean toward the mystical, the creative, and the emotional, amethyst acts as a spiritual amplifier. It deepens intuition, strengthens their natural empathic abilities, and helps them stay clear in their emotional and energetic boundaries. One of the most essential roles amethyst plays in their life is that of a protector. March 16th Pisces are sensitive to emotional overload. They absorb feelings like sponges, often without realizing it, and can become energetically drained, anxious, or emotionally overwhelmed just from spending time in crowded or emotionally chaotic environments. Amethyst works as a shield, helping them maintain clarity and sovereignty over their own energy. It's like a spiritual filtration system, keeping out what doesn't belong to them and grounding what does. Amethyst is also a stone of serenity, ideal for those with vivid inner lives and restless emotional landscapes. March 16th individuals often struggle with overthinking, internal spirals, or insomnia brought on by emotional processing. Sleeping with amethyst nearby, on the nightstand or under a pillow, can bring deep, restorative rest and even heightened dream clarity. Many Pisces with this stone report more vivid dreams, clearer messages from their subconscious, or even prophetic visions. The gemstone also supports emotional regulation, which is key for people born on this date. With their deep sensitivity, they can sometimes be at the mercy of their moods. Amethyst has a calming effect on the mind and heart. Holding it during meditation, placing it over the heart, or simply wearing it as jewelry can help diffuse anxiety, process grief, or bring comfort during emotional lows. But amethyst isn't just soothing, it's activating. It awakens the desire to grow spiritually. It nudges the soul toward alignment, toward truth, toward healing. For March 16th individuals, who often feel a quiet spiritual calling from an early age, this crystal acts as a guide. It encourages self-trust, it sharpens intuitive insight, it supports rituals, prayer, dream work, tarot reading, or any spiritual practice that invites them to listen inward and reach upward. Amethyst also helps March 16th Pisces avoid burnout. These individuals are often so eager to help others, to heal, to create, to love, that they forget to recharge. The stone serves as a reminder to slow down, to ground, to connect with Source before pouring energy outward. In this way, it becomes not just a stone, but a spiritual mentor, teaching them the sacred rhythm of giving and receiving. On a creative level, amethyst is said to stimulate the imagination while maintaining structure. It allows emotions to move freely, but with purpose. This is ideal for March 16th souls, who often carry vast emotional reservoirs but sometimes struggle to channel them effectively. When working on music, writing, art, or performance, holding or meditating with amethyst can help clarify vision, deepen emotional expression, and unlock creative flow without losing grounding. Physically, amethyst has been used since ancient times to relieve stress, support the nervous system, and assist with detoxification, aligning once again with the Piscean tendency to absorb what's around them, both emotionally and physically. It encourages overall well-being, reminding them that spiritual health and physical vitality are deeply intertwined. But perhaps the most magical aspect of amethyst for March 16th individuals is the sense of divine connection it brings. It's not just a spiritual tool, it's a reminder that they are never alone. That their gifts have purpose. That their pain can be transmuted into healing. That their sensitivity is a superpower, not a flaw. To wear or work with amethyst is to walk hand in hand with the sacred. It reinforces what the March 16th Pisces knows in their bones, that this world is not all there is, and that their role in it is to awaken hearts, nurture souls, and turn feeling into wisdom. With amethyst as their companion, they do so with grace, clarity, and quiet strength. Vedic Astrology, Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. In the ancient and profoundly symbolic system of Vedic astrology, many individuals born on March 16 fall under the influence of Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, one of the most mystical and paradoxical lunar mansions in the zodiac. This nakshatra is ruled by Jupiter, the great teacher and philosopher, but its symbol, the two-faced man, reveals a deeper duality, the presence of both shadow and light, chaos and clarity, realism and transcendence within the same soul. Those born under this star walk the edge between the visible world and the unseen realm. They are bridges between dimensions, translators of emotional and spiritual truths into earthly experiences. One of the most defining traits of Purva Bhadrapada natives is their deep spiritual insight. From a young age, these individuals sense that life is more than what can be seen, measured, or explained. They may not always have the words for it early on, but they feel it, this undercurrent of meaning beneath every interaction, every moment of stillness, every encounter with love or loss. Over time, they often become students of the sacred, drawn to philosophy, mysticism, meditation, astrology, metaphysics, ancient texts, or even quantum theories that point toward a universe alive with consciousness. They are not afraid of life's bigger questions. Why are we here? What does it all mean? What happens after death? Because, in truth, these questions comfort them. They don't just want answers, they want alignment with something greater. And yet, they carry their wisdom quietly. Purva Bhadrapada natives often possess a charisma that is undeniable but difficult to explain. It's not loud or flashy, it's mysterious, magnetic, and deeply felt. You notice them without knowing why. You feel safer around them without asking for protection. They may not dominate a room with their voice, but their presence shifts the energy. People instinctively open up around them, drawn to their depth and authenticity. This charisma comes not from ego, but from soul-level awareness. They speak when it matters. They see what others miss. They reveal what others avoid. Behind their calm eyes lies an intensity that never sleeps. Purva Bhadrapada natives live with a fire in their spirit, a kind of spiritual restlessness that drives them to seek, question, and evolve constantly. They may appear still on the outside, but inside, they're blazing, grappling with ideals, deconstructing truths, imagining better worlds. This makes them exceptional thinkers, creators, and healers, but also makes inner peace something they must intentionally cultivate. Without balance, they can fall into overanalysis, pessimism, or despair at the state of the world. Their spiritual awareness comes with great sensitivity. They feel injustice like a wound. They experience beauty like a prayer. This nakshatra bestows an almost shamanic presence. March 16th individuals with Purva Bhadrapada energy are often healers, whether they realize it or not. Their very essence has a transformational effect on others. They may use traditional tools, Reiki, Ayurveda, counseling, tarot, or they may simply heal through conversation, storytelling, or presence. They have the gift of catalyzing others' awakenings. People leave them changed, even if they can't explain why. They serve as emotional alchemists, turning pain into power, chaos into clarity, silence into revelation. Their minds are built for depth, not speed. They thrive in late-night conversations that spiral into the nature of existence, the architecture of dreams, the vibration of words, or the emotional symbolism of past relationships. Superficial talk exhausts them. They crave substance, soul, mystery, and the unseen threads that connect it all. It's why they often attract unusual friends and lovers, people with complicated stories, spiritual wounds, or brilliant but misunderstood minds. But the Purva Bhadrapada native also walks a fine line between mysticism and melancholy. Their intensity can lead to existential fatigue, especially if they feel unsupported in their search for meaning. They may experience dark nights of the soul, periods of withdrawal, spiritual confusion, or nihilism. They are no strangers to internal conflict. They may feel pulled between wanting to retreat into solitude and a deep urge to help others heal. Between dreaming of other realms and struggling with the harshness of this one. To thrive, they must learn to ground their vision in reality. The challenge of Purva Bhadrapada is not only to see beyond the veil, but to bring back what they see and make it useful, healing, tangible. This means creating art, teaching, mentoring, writing, building spiritual communities, or using their insights in therapy, leadership, or activism. When they anchor their inner world in practical service, their suffering transforms into something sacred. Their pain becomes medicine, for themselves and for the collective. They are not here to be normal. They are here to be authentic, awakening, and quietly revolutionary. They walk with one foot in this world and one in the next. Their power comes from accepting this duality, not trying to fix it, but learning to live within it. The two-faced symbol of this nakshatra reminds them, it's okay to be both hopeful and haunted. Both broken and healing. Both skeptical and surrendered. March 16th natives with Purva Bhadrapada influence carry an ancient flame. Their mission is to keep it alive, not by holding it for the world to see, but by lighting the hearts of those they encounter, one soul at a time. Summary. Who are you, March 16th? You are the mystic hiding in plain sight. The one who walks through the noise of the world with eyes that see differently, feel deeper, and dream farther than most people dare. You were not born to conform, you were born to illuminate. You are both question and answer, both storm and shelter, both tenderness and truth. You are the artist with a cause, driven not by ego or applause, but by the quiet knowing that art can heal, that music can mend the soul, that words can make people remember who they are. You've likely felt the weight of the world since you were young, not because you're weak, but because you're awake. Awake to sorrow, to longing, to the secret language of beauty. Awake to the places where others look away. You are the lover who writes poetry at midnight, not because it's cute or quirky, but because you don't know how not to feel. You fall in love with minds, with glances, with the sound of someone's laugh when they're unguarded. Your heart is a cathedral, built not of stone, but of softness, of memory, of all the things you never say out loud. You crave love that doesn't just touch your skin, but love that sees your soul, stands in your silence, and stays when the music fades. You are the friend who never forgets a soul's pain. You remember the ache behind someone's smile, the tremble in their voice when they said they were fine. You remember birthdays, breakups, and the way people held their coffee the morning they fell apart. You're not just supportive, you're present. You don't just hear, you witness. And that is a rare, sacred gift. You feel too much, dream too much, give too much, and yet, that's not a flaw. That's your superpower. Your emotions are not a storm to be tamed, they are a compass. Your dreams are not distractions, they are blueprints. Your giving is not weakness, it is the way you worship life. Your life is not meant to be straight lines and clear answers. It's meant to be a dance between feeling and form, between sorrow and song, between what you imagine and what you manifest. You are here to translate emotion into action, transform pain into beauty, and turn your fantasy into something the world can hold. A book, a song, a healing conversation, a quiet moment that makes someone feel whole again. When you learn to balance your inner world with the outer one, when you stop seeing your depth as a burden and begin treating it as the treasure it is, there is almost nothing you cannot do. You are not broken, you are not lost, you are not too much. You are exactly what this world needs. Someone who remembers what it means to feel, to care, to dream without apology. You are the soft light in a hardened world. You are the soul that reminds us, gently, fiercely, and without needing credit, that there is still magic here, and it lives in you. If this resonated, you'll love what we've got in store. Hit like, subscribe for more deep dives into personality, astrology, and cosmic psychology, and check out the links in the description for more spiritual and self-discovery tools. And remember, your birthday isn't random. It's a message. Are you listening?